Medtronic is one of the largest product-based company building the healthcare products. They have many products on healthcare like cardio and diabetes and many more products they will be mostly building. Hey Kodos, what's up? Hope you are doing great. I came with another interesting video which is on full stack developer interview experience at Medtronic. Recently, my friend had attended a interview at Medtronics with 6+ years of experience, and they are offering 25 LPA plus based on your interview experience. I have also attached the Notion page with all the interview questions in the comment section below. Do check out them. Before getting started, do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let's go. So they have quickly started with responsibilities in his previous role, like what is the tech stack that have used and what are the frameworks that he have worked on. And so that covers mostly on React Redux for front-end architecture and Node and Express for backend and PostgreSQL for data persistence, AI agents for automation flows that he have mostly used. So as is a 6+ years of experience developer, so they will be mostly covering questions on application level and how the application exactly runs, and each and every feature they will be asking in depth to explain. So coming to real world challenges, they have asked most challenges that he have faced in his current role, like what are the challenges that he have faced during the development or else production issues, and while learning a new technology. These kind of questions they have asked most, like building the real world ticket booking application, how exactly it works, and how the score is getting updated in the ClickBuzz application, and real world scenarios completely. So we can understand about how exactly API runs on a ticket booking application, and implementing the role based access control and how the exactly roles get updated. And they also covered mostly on how the JWT token authentication works, and without JWT token how we can authenticate the service. And they also asked is there any alternative for JWT token in authentication methods, and optimize the infinite scroll performance, how to exactly optimize the infinite scroll, how you will be segregating a list of users in a particular component or a particular page in React application, and how to integrate the AI tools to your application, how exactly you will be using the data set in your full stack application. These kind of questions they have covered most. Coming to the JavaScript fundamentals, they have mostly covered the asynchronous operations like event loop, promises, async and await, how exactly promises works, and using try catch blocks, and how exactly API call happens, and how the request will be sending from the client and accepted by the server, how the client and server relationship happens, how exactly client will send a request to server to get the response from the server, and in API calls, fetch and access comparison, what is the exact difference between those two. And they also asked to write a fetching the API and getting the response, and asynchronous function code. So I have also displayed the code here that he exactly used in his interview. So here I also added the asynchronous function by using await to fetch the API, and the data as awaiting the response using the response.json, and the catch block is used to print any type of error that we get if the API fails. Coming to the React architecture, they have mostly covered the component patterns, and difference of class and functional components, why we are currently using the functional components only, why class components in depth to understand, and what are the hooks that we will be using mostly, use callback and use effects, and also mostly into state management, why the state will get updated and what happens if a state will render, how to use effect, and what are the lifecycle methods we will be using inside the use effect, and how the exactly lifecycle method flow will happen inside the use effect without using a render method, like use context for component state and side effects, what are the side effects we will be having while using use effect, and reconciliation. This is also an important topic in Medtronic's interview, or else any kind of a React front-end developer interview. This can be a great topic to understand to get into the virtual DOM. So how exactly virtual DOM works using a diffing algorithm, and what happens in a parent and child component renders using the props, and also performance keys. What is the use of key in a large scale of list to identify single element? Like real world examples also they have covered mostly. So to understand the working of a any type of a real time application like ClickBuzz, Book My Show, or else Rapido application, how live score will be updated in the ClickBuzz with the WebSocket integration, how you are integrating the WebSocket to your application, like infinite scrolling in e-commerce product listing. You will be having an infinite scroll option in a e-commerce listing, and how we are segregating a certain length of a page, and only particular users can only particular products can be used in a single page, how we are handling that. And coming to state management, Redux and context API decision, how we will be deciding which one to use, either context or Redux. So Redux is a centralized state, as we know action based state changes will be reducers. Coming to the context API, we will be built in, it is a built-in React solution without extra dependencies, like a provide a consumer pattern for prop drilling. To overcome the prop drilling concept, so we are using the context API. So what is the exact difference between these two and Redux? So we need to have an in-depth understanding of Redux to get into. So we need to have a in-depth understanding of Redux to work on large-scale applications and get into Next.js concepts as well. Coming to the backend engineering, the mostly concept covered in backend framework are Node and Express. So coming to Node, they have covered mostly on REST APIs and SOAP APIs, and Express routing in CRUD operations, and entire writing a dedicated API for each and every server response, sending to a request from the client. So event loop, they have mostly covered the set interval and set timeout callbacks in the event loop. And coming to the security, CORS error, what type of CORS cross origin, and what coming to the security, what type of cross origin resource sharing we are using inside a backend, and SQL injection, dependency injection, and also middlewares, and sharding in the SQL concept, and also indexes are mostly important in database. And database integration, how we are integrating the ORM strategies for database abstraction, and how we will be rendering the, and how we will exactly run the transaction in database, and how we will be rollbacking the, and how exactly we will be rollbacking the code by keeping the backup safe in a large scale database application, and indexing for faster data retrieval, and error handling, how exactly we will handle errors in a SQL database, and also very logic implementation, and are also retrying the logic implementation. We need to have an in-depth understanding of developer tools, and also backend framework like Node and Express. I hope you got a good insights on how exactly this interview went. So all the very best for your future interviews. See you in the next video. Bye.